Live.
We are on the air.
Is it like flickering?
There is movement within the audio track. I see blue ripples.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. All right, there's a little bit of a wacky setup here. Maybe they're going to be able to see the video too. So if I end up like, hello, it's probably because I have no idea why something's lodged in my throat. But anyway, I'm going to let you crack on, mate. You're a lot more of an interesting character than I am. People are sick of my fucking voice anyway. They listen to me on a regular basis. So, brother, who the fuck are you?
How's it going? Who am I? Well, really tall. Too tall to be doing fitness, for that matter.
That's true.
I get told a lot, like, oh, are you spectating? Oh, are you competing? Oh, wow. Well, good luck. That's usually how it goes. But what do you want to know, man? There's a whole heap of chapters in this book of mine, so
Mate,
pick apart some questions.
well, you start from the start, right?
For the start.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it. I mean, your name would suffice.
Oh, yes. Could I just go unnamed? You should just have me unnamed. The first guest that's unnamed.
You know what? Yeah, sure.
Jokes.
I'll just call you BFG.
BFG, baby. My name is Luke Pettigrew. I am a studying nutritionist and current coach of many physical activities, be it CrossFit, weightlifting, functional bodybuilding, athletic development, stripping.
Nice.
Thank you.
Have you ever gone down that route?
My partner, she's not a stripper. She does pole at altitude, and let me tell you, the fitness requirements for being able to do that type of stuff, is out the gate.
It's insane. Like I don't think I'd kind of suit it.
Hard times,
Very hard.
Put
times.
your core stability to the test.
It's impressive, mate.
You got a bunch of older men sitting in the crowd. They expect you to pull it off. Under pressure, Alex. This isn't a weightlifting meet. You need to clap and make that cash rain. Can you do it?
I mean, I can make my ass crap.
Ladies, you heard it here first. 100%.
It is funny because most of the people that listen to this are, in fact, ladies.
Is that actually the majority audience?
That is actually true.
Ladies, how's it going?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know why. Maybe they like the accent. Maybe
You're pretty cute, so you gotta take that into account.
I'm
mate.
5'10" on a good day. So what's that, like 2 foot underneath you?
Probably. No, but my story starts in Asia. So Kiwi-born parents moved to Beijing, taught there for a few years, then moved to Taiwan, taught there for a few more years, and then had me. And I don't know if their plan was to stay there, but they ended up staying a lot longer than intended. And then 5 years later, we adopted my sister. And I spent 17 years in Taiwan. So I never knew anything different than the surroundings of Taipei City. So fortunate enough to have both of them work at Taipei American School, where I was able to have them deal with me for a good 17 years of my life. That's not where I found CrossFit though. That happened
cool.
in Australia.
Oh wow! So did you move over to Australia on your bill, or did you go with your parents?
Nah, so it was a summer vacation. So we went over there into this little beach town near Brisbane called Mooloolaba. And shout out to Brad Bacon, who owns CrossFit Mooloolaba. He gave me what I would describe as the first day speech. So you got this skinny, underweight, 6'2" white kid walking into your gym who wants to put on a little bit of muscle.
6'2", fuck off. You're taller than that.
Oh, yeah. No, I was 6'2".
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I've always been tall.
I was like, if you're only 6'2", I'm shrinking.
Yeah, nah, man. 6'6" currently. Back when I was, I started CrossFit when I was 14, I think. 14 or 13. Yeah, 14, I think. And I was around 6'2" and 60 kilos. So take that into account in terms of having to fill out a wee bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he set me up with my first CrossFit class and took me through it. And I think it's hard to, I think you have this similar problem with me, is like, it's hard to remember what the first time felt like.
Yeah.
In that case, like, like I think now we train so much that it's like, it's just another day, just another session. And, but that first CrossFit session that you get into, it's both heavily intense, it's fast, it's, euphoric in a way. And by the end of it, you wondered, like, what the fuck happened? Like, how am I on my back? How am I, like, dying? And how do I get more of this? And how do I get better at this? And that's where it all started. I didn't know what drop-in rates were. And I thought the only thing you could do is sign up for a membership. So I basically blasted my savings and put it all into this gym for a month or so while we were on holiday. And I then told them that I was leaving to go back home. And then he was like, "You were here on holiday?" And expected me to be there for a much longer time. He was like, "Oh, well, we should have had you on drop-in rates." And it was just learning curves there. But that's where the journey started. And I came back to Taiwan, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because there's no CrossFit in Taiwan at this point in time. This is 2013. There's no CrossFit whatsoever. What do we do?
Was it just like backyard training from there, or was it like kind of put CrossFit on the back burner for a while and go into something else, or what were you doing?
I think I went a bit American Psycho with it, and I tried my best to like do it anywhere. Yeah. I would look up the workout that CrossFit Mobile would post, and I would try and do it with whatever I had. Mind you, that's like literally nothing. Like, I'd go to my school, and off like a basketball court, there'd be like a rogue like bar hanging around, and I'd jump onto that and do what I assumed were toe to bar and kipping pull-ups and burpees and squats. And when I saved up enough money, I bought my first like rogue t-shirt and board shorts and a pair of nanos, and I was stoked. Like, but I had no gym.
Spent way too much money on the kit.
100%.
Still had no idea.
Had no idea what I was doing.
I think that's a rite of passage.
I think so too.
It's either that or you scavenge like Trade Me or eBay and try and get like an old caffeine and kilos sort of shirt.
100%.
You spend like $150 on it, and then another $150 for shipping.
I reckon those are worth a lot more now. If you've got a caffeine and kilos t-shirt hanging around, like an OG one. Black and white one.
Oh yeah, the fucking black and white ones. Yeah.
Yeah, with the socks as well.
Yeah.
I think I spent way too much time as a kid just like trying to figure out like which kit I wanted the most.
Oh, something like the like OG kits. I really want a white Alico belt.
Oh yeah, true.
Like
the one that Ilya had. Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's where it's at.
One of those ones. Like, it's so sweet, but you can either get it like second hand, which obviously it's going to be battered, or you can get it custom made and it's going to cost you like £500, mate. It's silly money.
But that belt, though.
I know. But it's like, look, babe, I spent everything.
It's gone.
But it's a nice belt.
Don't worry about it. It's not coming back.
I'm going to frame
Just know
it.
that I'm happy.
Yeah. It's going to get me
you
a
love
PR.
me. It's not going to matter. But yeah, so this was the rest of the summer. So about 3 weeks, Luke was on his own doing everything and anything they could find online that he was able to do, with no one else watching. So no coach, no nothing.
How old are you here? Like 14?
Yes. So 14 years old. Or 13. 14 or 13. 14. Let's go with 14. Yeah. I'm like, I got 1,000 things in my head right now, but I'm pretty sure I was 14 at the time. Later that year, so when school started, we had a new position open up in our physical education department, And we had a proper athletic trainer come in. Her name was Crystal Sullivan. And one of her, because what they do is they do a like meet the staff, so new teachers, new staff, and like it's a big assembly. It's like it's a huge deal. And her bio popped up, so they had like a page on, and it was like projected onto the big screen in our gymnasium, basketball court.
Old school gymnasium.
You said bog earlier.
Bog, yeah.
So what would be the British conversion of basketball gym?
Inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a gymnasium.
That's a gymnasium.
Yeah, or like an old school sort of style gym. I always get like weird looks whenever I say bog, though. Like, everyone's just like, "What are you talking about?"
I feel like if you say the bog here, everyone's like, "What now?"
Like the Irish bar. Yeah, you want to go for a pint?
You want to go
like,
now?
Well, I wasn't saying that, but yeah, I won't turn down a pint.
But yeah, so her bio popped up, and at the bottom of her final fun facts about me, CrossFit regional competitor.
Oh fuck!
In the States.
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh my god, that's incredible." Because at the time, right, like if you're a regional competitor, especially back in those days, like you're an OG. You are like certified good. Like that's like your pro card. And I was like, oh my god, that's incredible. Like I have to meet this woman. Funnily enough, because it was my dad who got me into CrossFit. So I left that part out at the beginning. He found that CrossFit gym and he sent me to it in Malula Box. He was like, "Son, the wind is going to knock you over for the rest of your life if you don't do something about it." So I was like, "That's fair enough, Dad. Appreciate it." I love you, Dad. But he introduced me to Crystal, and then through Crystal, I met Mike. So Mike Vitas, who owns Mahuin Athletics in New Jersey. He also was the first one to open the very first CrossFit gym in Taiwan. So in perspective of that, there are 17 to 22 gyms in Taiwan now. Mm-hmm. But back in that day, he was the first one to open CrossFit gym in Taiwan.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Some kid from Nebraska, sorry, Mike, I'm gonna call you a kid in this instance. Opens a CrossFit gym in Taiwan. You know, like it's pretty sick. But yeah, he was my mentor for a good many years. I still consider him a mentor to this day. He's taught me pretty much everything I know when it comes to human interaction and getting someone to squat. But that's when everything took off. That first year of doing CrossFit with Mike, and then all the way up until I graduated, and then I moved to New Jersey because that's when he decided to move over to New Jersey to open up his own gym, him and Crystal. And he was like, "Do you want to come?" And this is me, like I've decided now because what you do is, and what a lot of, I think you're probably quite similar, Alex, is like as athletes, because when did you start CrossFit?
Good question. So I was at uni for all of 2.5 months.
Fair chat. Yeah, I understand that.
You know what I mean? But nah, contrary to what you think, like I didn't go out once. I didn't drink once. I was commuting 2 hours each way to get there and back, so I had a different experience of university than most people.
Sounds quite similar to mine in a way.
Yeah, and then it was like, you know what, like I was not in a good place mentally anyway, but I was piss broke, had nothing, and I'm like, look, I can't afford to do shit here. Like I'm fucked. Like I can't afford for the next meal, never mind the bloody train to uni. Anyway, I stopped that, carried on with my external studies because I was studying, as we do, continuously studying in this field anyway.
Always,
exactly. And I carried on with that, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to do CrossFit. You start earning some pennies because you start working all the time. You're like, I've always wanted to do CrossFit, so yeah, fuck it. Like, just typed in, as you do with the affiliate page, CrossFit gym in Southampton, and as the city I was in at the time, pops up, and I'm like, that's just across the ferry. Like, it's not that far. So I kind of, just rock up. I was like, hey, my name's Alex, and I'd like to, do this fitness thing that you do. I think I had one like intro session with a very good mate of mine, incredible coach, Ollie Drew. Like anything about running, that fella knows. It's incredible. Like I still don't understand how he knows that shit.
I might need to hit him up. There's a strong chance I'll need to hit him up.
He's nuts. He's absolutely mental. Anyway, yeah, he goes, yeah, you can move all right. A few things you're pretty shit at, but nothing that's going to kill you. Join your first class tomorrow night. So I just rock up like the next day. I think there was 3 of us. Like a lad who was training for the Marines at the time, Jake. He was hardcore. He's the man.
How good?
Like, would just come in and absolutely just rag himself silly. So, like, just mentally deranged, really. Like one of those athletes.
There's a special place in my heart for those people.
Oh, they're incredible, man. But it's like when it's like, all right, mate, it's an active recovery day. I want you to like go at a talking pace, and they put themselves in a fucking grave. It's it's funny. I had that, and I had a yogi, and then there was me who rocked up just ex-rugby, and I was like, I couldn't move for shit. Fucking 5 rounds every 5 minutes or 3 minutes, I can't really remember. It was like 20 pull-ups, 30 push press at 35, and then 40 air squats. And I'd kind of taught myself this weird butterfly motion that, you kind of see knocking around on YouTube. I'm like,
oh, phenomenal.
I'll like kind of like throw my scaps in it and see what happens. Mate, I finished the first 2 rounds and that's it. I was fucked.
I think my first CrossFit workout was, well, for one, it had running.
Ugh.
But it wasn't long scale running. It was sprints.
Ugh.
So it was 12 burpees, 100-meter sprint, then 12 air squats, and you were to AMRAP it. I think I just threw myself at the wall because I was like, okay, I want to make a good impression with these guys.
Yeah.
And kind of what you were talking about, right? You got like you're just mentally deranged individuals. So like I trained at the latest class because I was like, oh cool, I've never been able to train because like you're a kid, you've never been able to train at like 7:00 at night. But like it was on vacation, so I'd train at 7:00. But that's when all the competitors would train, and all the big boys and like just jacked women. And like I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this, and it hit me. It hit me. But yeah,
I kind of miss that sense of like ignorance.
Oh, it's beautiful, really.
Because I like every time I see something on the board now or on Wodify or whatever, I'm like, nah. I just don't even want to attempt it anymore because I know how badly it fucking hurts. But like I really miss that time when you just look at it and like, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, 100%. Like I reckon if you're thinking about starting CrossFit, and if you're thinking about going like down this route, I'd say take every workout with a grain of salt and just don't look into it and just go. This will only last for so long because you'll develop the ability to kind of read through the bullshit and be like, this is gonna suck. But yeah, ignorance is bliss, really.
What's the worst workout you've ever done?
Kalsu.
Aye.
Without a doubt.
So for anyone who doesn't know, that's 100 thrusters at 60 kilos, and is it 40 kilos for the ladies? Maybe.
Can't confirm.
Wow, 60 kilos for lads, so whatever the conversion is, maybe 35.
Is it 5 burpees every minute?
5 burpees every minute, yeah.
Yep.
So if you don't complete any thrusters, you still have to complete your 5 burpees, and you keep going until you've done those 100 reps on the thrusters.
And is the burpees at the beginning of the minute?
Yeah, man.
So like 3, 2, 1, go. You're doing burpees first.
Burpees first. That's the buy-in.
Some workouts just shouldn't exist, and that's one of them.
It's naughty. I'll tell you that.
It's naughty. That's the word for it.
It is naughty. Like it's good fun because you just kind of look down in the pool of sweat you've accumulated doing your burpees, and you're just like, this is never gonna fucking end.
Honestly, so funnily enough, the first time I did Kalsu was in Jersey. So when I was in New Jersey, For anyone that's curious, South Jersey is very different to the North. The North is where Snooki lives. South Jersey is lovely. It's beautiful. It's country. It's a good place to be. But I did it outside, barbell, two mats down on the gravel. Yeah, it was not a fun experience.
My man.
I would not recommend to the faint of heart or anyone that has any common sense.
The thing is, Kalsu would even fucking hurt with an empty bar.
100%.
Like
You do it right. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about the load on the bar. Like, it's still gonna grab you by the balls and shake you up.
Heavier is not harder.
I like that. Not always.
Not always. Yeah. There are some things that, but yeah.
I really like the workout from, I want to say 2018 with the chest to bar and the thrusters on one of the open workouts where it started with a 33.
And it went down?
And it went down, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
I really like that workout, but my God, it just played with me. Like, it fucked me up to the point where I was like, I finished the first round. I remember Mark, a good mate of mine, he was judging. And I just jumped back on the bar and just kept doing chest to bars. It was like, what are you doing? No, you're done. No rep. Like, no, pick up the fucking bar. You're on the thrusters. I was like, what? Like, I didn't even fucking know where I was. Never mind what I was doing, and I'd done one round.
I think people assume too much of us. Like, I can only do math to such a large degree when I'm under fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, not. I need a judge. I need cones. I need a clicker. I need someone to write my reps down on the whiteboard.
Oh, yeah. What's your go-to? Because people break the line, don't they? They draw a line, they break it.
Yeah.
Some people have, like, I've seen, like, beer bottle caps. That's a cool one.
That's a cool one. I've seen poker chips. That's also another one.
That's a cool one,
That's a cool one as well.
But it always makes you just want to play a game of cards.
I go back, yeah, exactly. I go back to the idea of ignorance is bliss, and if I miss one, I miss one. But, nah, jokes, kidding.
Fuck, what did we do? Me and a couple good mates of mine started Bitch Work Thursdays.
Oh, yes.
So
that sounds good.
So basically, we'd come up with something absolutely, like, disgusting, and when we'd look at it and be like, I don't want to do that, and obviously end up doing it, we'd create some sort of challenge where it'd be like, if you didn't get this round or you didn't get this time, you are the bitch for the week, and we all drink chocolate milk. So whether you finish it or not, you drink chocolate milk at the end. And
I love this.
It was fucking brilliant, mate.
Yeah, this is great.
And one of the AMRAPs was like a 40-minute AMRAP of 20 cal on the bike and like 10 devil's press. And I think we ended up getting like over 20 rounds, I believe. Don't quote me on it. But I just remember there just being so many fucking poker chips all around the floor. I'm just like, oh my God, this is never going to fucking end. Like, it's only 40 minutes. We did, the longest one we did was double, triple free. So 2 rounds of it.
You bad man.
And that was naughty.
That was very naughty.
Yeah, that just wasn't fun. It was just a lot of running. Too much running for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of running. If anyone knows me, it's my biggest like Achilles heel. But 2021 season is the season to get better at all these things. So
I'd take an L in any workout that has like 50-meter run in it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, I'll take an L on this one, boys. Like, no problem. You set this one, I'll have the next one. I'm like, mate, it starts with a 50-meter walk, and then you're done. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I need to sit down. I'm more of a weightlifter. Fuck anything else.
Yeah, same.
Snatching, squatting, that's all you need. Maybe a clean and jerk, if you're feeling fancy.
Yeah, we do the fitness.
Yeah, but it's, you have to, don't you,
Especially in this space. But yeah, so going back to, so timeline-wise, I graduated high school, jumped on a plane to the States. So this is the first time I've ever been to New York, because you fly into JFK. Pretty surreal, because you see it all in the movies, like and everything like that. And there's probably people that, I don't know if there's anyone listening, like from the States, you know, like obviously, like depending on where you're at in the world, you probably are used to the environment that you're in, so you take it for granted. But yeah, it was a big culture shock for me because I grew up seeing every single color you could probably think of in every shape and size, and then you just show up to America and you're like, oh wow, this place is different. And yeah, I spent, was it like 6 months in New Jersey, learning everything I could about, you know, opening a gym and, you know, running a business and coaching, specifically programming and, you know, individual design. And then I moved here. I think it's like 5 years I've been in New Zealand.
That's the way to do it, though, innit? Pick yourself up and just throw yourself in the fucking deep end and go, hey, mate, you're either going to sink or swim.
100%. Like, same thing that we were talking about, like, before we even, you know, clicked the podcast going. Like, you know, you came over here. Same deal, right?
Just throw yourself in it, mate.
Throw yourself in the fire and see what happens.
Yeah, and was it always easy?
No.
Fuck, there you go.
It's not. And, well, it still isn't. You know what I mean? I think obviously as time goes on, like this is the point that I also want to make as well with anyone that, you know, has a passion or has something that, you know, gives them a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You are never going to have an easy time getting to where you want to get to. It's never going to be easy, and every single day is a fight. Like that is how it works, and that is how you weed out the weak, and that is why there are, you know, successful people. Like those successful people don't view themselves as successful because they understand that the ladder is infinite and doesn't stop because the human condition, right? We are never satisfied because once you know you can do more, you will go further. I mean, obviously it's a difference of opinion. But like I think that's why also there's so few of people trying to pursue, you know, what we're trying to pursue and what we're trying to do in this space is because like people give up.
It's fucking hard, right?
It's fucking hard, man. like I pay, like, believe it or not, I'm blessed. I am properly blessed to have, like, obviously being skillful in what you do and being decent at what you do helps, right? But if you don't have people that support you or people that back you on your bullshit, then like you're not going anywhere. So I'm blessed enough to pay my bills this way.
Yeah, 100%, mate. At the end of the day, you could be working for other people and doing shit that you hate. Like I'm sure you would have done a job somewhere that you fucking didn't like doing. That you were like,
I can name it right now. I'm not afraid to drop names. Foodstuffs.
Foodstuffs?
So they do the distribution. It's like a warehouse job. You drive a Jiffy and you put like groceries.
The fuck is a
stuff.
Jiffy?
Okay, so Jiffy is like a hybrid forklift. Only the forks are in the front, they're in the back, and you're standing and you're driving around a warehouse and you're what we call picking. So you wear a headset and you have I call this woman Phyllis, but I actually don't know what her name is. It's just this robotic voice that says it gives you a number.
Yeah.
And that number leads you to a lane in the warehouse. And this warehouse is like the size of 5 football fields, so it's pretty massive. And you're driving around, and then it tells you like a shelf number, and then which level to go onto, and it tells you how much of that item to pick. It's anything from alcohol to like toilet paper. Toilet paper was my favorite because it was the lightest. Work smarter, not harder. Always. But doing that for 8 hours a day is the worst thing I've
fucking
ever
mind-numbing, right?
That is the hardest part about it, I think, is like the physical labor wasn't that hard. The fact that you start hallucinating because you're seeing the same thing every single time. And there's no light, you know, it's all synthetic light, you know, there's no noise, it's silent. And I work the weekend shift as well.
Oh, fuck.
So there's like 5 of you and you barely see each other. So you're pretty much on your own. Yeah, not worst job I've ever worked, and just terrible place to be around in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I can guarantee that what you're doing now is so much harder than that.
Oh, way harder than that.
Yet
Somehow I'm happy.
there you go.
Explain that to me, Alex.
Because if you're doing what it's like if you're doing what you love, what you're passionate about, or whatever the fuck you want to deem that term to be, then you're living the life, you're spending the time of your life and the way you want to spend it. Like there's gonna be hard things, there's gonna be struggles, and there's times where, you're gonna want to stop, give up, go down a different path. But at the end of the day, like, you have to spend your time doing something. You want to spend your time doing something that you like. You will put in the effort, whatever the fuck it means, to get it done. Like for example, with that book example, I want to put my head through the screen.
Bro, let's talk about that book for a second.
Oh, behave.
Bro, let's talk about that book. What was so for all of you that don't know, you should know because this is his podcast. So if you're not following him on socials, fucking get your shit together and do it. My boy writes poetry, and it's some beautiful, beautiful poetry. What's the title of the book, bro?
It's funny, man, because I put up it's called When Times Seem Dark. To answer your question, When Times Seem Dark. So I've not actually explained what it is yet.
It's a very relevant title.
It is,
especially for the year that we've had.
Yeah, it's fucking funny because I've been writing it for 6 years.
Oh shit! So this has been something long in the pipeline.
Fucking 6 years, mate. Like, seriously, like as soon as I clicked publish, started bawling my eyes out. Literally, I was sat in my office on my computer. It was like, I don't know, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Finally click publish. Obviously, I had to wait like 72 hours for it to get to whether they accept it to be published or whatnot. I click that final button. I'm like, look, my work here is done. Mate, I just started bawling my eyes out, mate. 6 years of life being put into, a couple words that kind of sound a little similar, and then I stick them together and then put a little title on it and give it, italics. And 6 years went into that, and it's funny because I did a little Q&A thing on my Instagram maybe 3 days ago, and one of the questions was, why? I was like, oh yeah, I'll post up, like I'll do an IGTV or whatever, a longer fucking video, and I'll post up what it's about, and I've still not done it. And it's funny because like the people like real close to me, obviously, that have known me for the longest time know why I've done it, and I've never actually explained.
Go for it.
Oh, put me on the spot. All right, yeah, sound. So, I've always dealt with things through physical expression. I'm sure you can relate, especially like
100%, my friend.
There you go. Like you take like mental pain and you kind of give it a being of being physical pain, and you only focus on your quads burning or your shoulders on fire or whatever the fuck it is, and you no longer have that mental itch that you can't scratch. Anyway, when I was 18, I royally destroyed my back to the point where I couldn't move my legs for 3 weeks.
What did you do and how did you do it?
So I ruptured my L5-S1, which is a disc between your L5 and your S1. So the last vertebrae in your lumbar, and then the first one in your sacrum. And I was stretching at the time, and I heard like the loudest, like no word of a lie, the loudest pop. I was like, what the fuck is that?
These are sounds that you can't find anywhere else in nature.
Yeah.
For anyone that has experienced this.
Right. The closest thing I can relate to it is like if you get a hammer and like smack a piece of wood. It was basically that loud. I was like, what the fuck?
That is fucking terrifying.
I try and like move, and that's it. Like basically my pelvis down was excruciatingly painful. Couldn't fucking move my legs. I was on my floor in my bedroom. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, I had to crawled on my fucking phone. I rang my mum at the time. I was like, Mum, I don't know what I've done. I can't really feel my legs. I can't move them. And I'm just on my floor. And she was just like, what the fuck? Anyway, that was a whole ordeal. But going back to the whole book situation, I had to figure out like another way to deal with shit. Like as you get older, you start sort of ripping apart the way you think and your childhood and all that sort of shit, and you I don't know, you kind of see demons that have been fucking with you and you've not even realised. So I'm like, oh fuck, how am I supposed to? I can't even do a push up here, man. I'm laying on my bed. I can't move.
What were you thinking at this point in time? Because like coming from, so like for reference, I have never experienced such hardship, luckily enough. But for that point of view,
but hardship is subjective, man.
Right. In terms of physical injury, I've had injuries, but that to me, because like losing the ability to walk, worried about that, like to me that is like top of the list. That's terrifying.
Well, I'd a few years previous, I'd seriously injured my neck, to the point where I was walking around like the Hunter of Notre Dame for like the longest time. I think it was about 5 weeks. I was literally just hunched over, looking down, and I couldn't even move my neck. And then about 18 months, I just kept on re-injuring my neck. And then I got to the point where I went to a specialist at Warrington Wolves, and they said, yeah, mate, the next time that you hurt your neck, you could potentially just snap it in two. So that obviously made me hang up my rugby boots and was like, you know what, mate, you're kind of done with this sport. But over the time of me playing ruggers, I'd suffered like 10 plus concussions. Like I remember,
that is way too many.
Like,
my bro, that is insane.
But it was right before the time of, like probably just before the time of like HIA, so head injury assessments. Like, you whatever we had, we called it the magic sponge. So whatever you had, if you had a broken bone or you had a head injury, someone used to come on with this luminous like orange bucket and this 30-year-old manky sponge with holes in it, what we called the magic sponge, in freezing fucking water. Anyone from the north knows it's fucking cold. And they just like slap this magic sponge on you, and it's like just mentally just like, all right, get up, keep going, the magic sponge has got you. Yeah, I remember times where I'd go to school, like I'd play full contact training the next day after being concussed. I'd be in school and I'd look at the board and I can't see shit. Like my eyes are just absolutely glazed over and they're done. And you're 15 and you don't really understand, and I
was not a competent individual when I was 15.
Yeah, and like
I'm not a competent individual right now. For anyone that's curious.
Well, we're men. We're never going to be competent.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason why I say that is like I'd suffered injuries before, where the fact of like I thought I was going to break my neck, and God forbid, whatever, touch wood, I didn't, but I was royally fucked up. And then also the fact of like moving and training is all we have, or all I had as a kid. So I'm just like, nah, right now I can't move. However, I will be able to move. And I remember having a conversation with a specialist. I went to go see him because my mum ended up forking out some pennies and saved up what she could to go see a private specialist because he went through the NHS. And this, don't take me out of context, I absolutely love the NHS and I think they're a fucking godsend. They are the spine of the United Kingdom. They're just overrun. So I went to him, and because it was a chronic pain rather than an acute pain, and someone who's 40 stone and says they got a pain in their chest goes in front of me naturally because they're probably going to die. They just gave me tramadol and said, take this 3 times a day and come back in 3 months. And I was like, I think I was 18, 19 at the time. And I'm like, mate, I can't do that, mate. Like, you know what I mean? I remember taking tramadol a few times and it didn't touch it. Didn't do a thing. I'm like, well, there's something seriously wrong here if this drug that they're giving me is not like working. Anyway, we go see this specialist. And he looks at me and goes, Alex, you'll never lift a weight again. And I go, excuse me? He goes, yeah, you'll never lift a weight again. Like, with this injury, you will never pick up a weight again. And I was like, I appreciate your opinion, sir, but it is in fact that, your opinion. And I shook his hand and walked out. And that was it. And I was just like, we did try a cortisol injection just to give my nerve a little bit of a respite. It was meant to last 3 months, and it lasted me 2 days. So that was probably where I hit rock bottom rather than the initial injury, because I was like, fuck me, man. Like, nothing's going to work.
What pulled you out of it?
Pulled me out of what? The mentality?
So, yes, the mentality of hitting rock bottom, but rock bottom itself. Like, how did you get better?
I think it's a daily battle. I don't think I'm one of those people where it doesn't really matter what physical pain you put me through. It will never, ever sort of be comparable to any mental pain you can ever suffer. So I'm just like, look, I can, withdraw whatever I need to physically, and I can get through this, no problem. It was just going to take time. It's more probably stubbornness, being northern. I was just like, look, I am going to fucking lift again, because lifting is all I fucking have. I am a lifter. Even if I just bench or whatever, like, I wasn't a weightlifter at the time. I was just like, I lift weights. That's what I do. And I want to work in this industry. So fuck you. I'm going to do it. But in terms of the mental battle, like, that's just addressing demons, man. Like, whatever they are, you take a demon on its own and you go, all right, why are you playing with my mind, sort of thing. And my mum is really good with words, and she just said, write them down. So I started writing down a couple things. Eventually I was like, I don't know why, I started like making a couple of them rhyme, and then I'd just bin them, and I'd write it and bin it and write it and bin it and whatnot, and
then the collection fills up, and then you start to get more and more.
Yeah, man. Like, but I never kept them.
Oh, you never kept them?
I threw them away.
Oh yeah, true.
I think I must have wrote like fucking, I don't know, between like 50 and 100 before I ever even told anyone I was writing poems. And before I didn't even read them back. I'd write them so it out my head, and I'd throw them away. Simply because like, it takes a lot of emotional energy, right? Because I would dig up whatever I was digging up, using that emotion and that pain and that trauma, and then putting it through my body into a pencil and whatever.
Yeah, it definitely takes energy. Definitely takes time.
Fuck yeah, man! It would just wipe me out. So I was like, nah, I don't. This is negative. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to have to do this. But I don't want to share this. Whatever. Anyway, I think by coincidence or chance or whatever, I think I sent one to me brother. I was like, mate, like, what do you think of this? He was like, dude, where'd you find that? I was like, I wrote it. It's like, what do you mean you fucking wrote it? Like, you can't write for shit. I was like, I know.
That's the best reaction you could probably have from something that you've organically created, right? It's like, where did you find this? And I was like, I created it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's good validation as well.
For sure.
Back yourself to have that, confidence to know that what you're doing is legit. It's like with anyone that, is thinking about making that dive, like you're obviously like put a lot of time and effort into making this thing, like, and it's gonna in this book, it's gonna be on multiple different platforms. Like it's a serious thing. It's like you have to have that conversation with yourself, and this is something that we've probably both done individually, like before we even ventured down the path that we're on now. It's like can I do this? Or can I back my own bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, can I actually, do the thing?
100%, mate. Because, I was writing these things, and I had this little book that my mum got me from like this little. She went away for a weekend or whatever in Wales, and she got me this tiny little, maybe A6. Is that the smallest one? I think it is, like A6 book, like this fucking tiny thing. And I just jot down scribbles.
A solid pocket book.
Yeah, basically a pocket book, innit, man? And I just jot down some things, and I would always have a notebook on me wherever I went for those 6 years, and I'd just write down some stuff. And like I said, it got me through a few things, and then I went travelling on my own, just like lived in my car. I was a bit of a nomad in your country here in New Zealand, and just sort of fucked off. I didn't speak to anyone, and I remember just like, I got through like, I don't know, in 7 days I wrote something like 30 poems or something like that. I'd just come up with them randomly. I'd sit on a hill with no signal, with my hood up, with no one around, just writing into this fucking book. But maybe I'd say less than 5 people knew I was doing it 1 month before it was published. And I was still like, maybe I won't publish it. You know what I mean? Maybe I won't do it. Maybe I think they're alright. Maybe no one else will.
What is the reasoning that you contemplated not publishing?
I think everyone has self-doubt. No matter how confident you are,
For sure.
in your ability. Yeah, if people say they don't doubt themselves, they're lying to your face. Yeah, fuck
You
off.
lying to me, boy.
Yeah, 100%. Whether it's physical capabilities or what, and mainly, no, man, it's a bit of it's a tricky one too, because it's come from some weird places. But I also like it with the fact of, I can write this thing and 100 people can read one poem, and 100 people can get 100 different things from that one poem. And I actually said this to Jem maybe a couple months ago, and it was just like, she was like, oh, it's like so good or whatever. I was like, no, it's just words on a paper. You're the one who makes the wisdom out of it. Like, I just jotted a couple words down and made them rhyme.
That's magic, bro. That's like the power of interpretation is immense.
And because the thing is, if I read my poem, right, am I going to take something from Taiwan out of my poem? Fuck no, because I don't have that experience. But that may give you some comfort or some strength or whatever from whatever you might have experienced back in the day, just from reading that one poem. And the fact of like it's so like minimalist is, one, I wanted it timeless, so people could read it in like 100 years and still feel a little bit of comfort. And 2, so people don't know who I am. Because I was speaking to a good mate of mine, and I genuinely think one of my fears is popularity. Which is weird, because we're speaking on a podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was just like, this is probably the best way to kind of create capacity in that strength.
And it's like, I don't know, I like the fact of like, I just do my own thing, and because I don't think anyone's more special than anyone else. I genuinely don't think another human being is better than the one next to him. So I kind of scared of that, someone seeing me in that light, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, mate. Like, I've just done a couple things, and like, oh, how did you? You must be such a fucking good person, or doing this. I'm like what? Because I've had this experience. Like, you've had that experience. I've not had that. You know what I mean? Everyone's got something to bring to the table. Everyone has a journey. And like Kel says all the time, like people can always be the teacher and the student.
Yeah, those roles are never set in stone.
For sure.
Which is fantastic.
But yeah, it's up. It's live. I'm trying to get it on. I want to get it in my old high school. I want to put it in the library. I think that'd be a cool thing.
I think that would be pretty epic, my friend.
Yeah, formatting it again at the moment. Again, like we said before we even fucking click go, this is just figuring it out. Just like we first did when we started doing CrossFit. Just like we first did when we started saying, hey, I want to work within the fitness realm rather than like actually just train or work out.
Yeah, man. Like when I first started CrossFit, when I first started like diving into fitness in all realms and aspects, I had no idea I'd be here today.
But fucking look how far you come, man.
Yeah. It's surreal, really.
And how many gyms did you say you coached out of now?
4 or 5.
And then like an average of how many people in those gyms?
Well, if you look at like, what is it, like 100 people per gym.
There you go.
I mean, some gyms smaller than others, so like boutique gyms, like it's a pretty good amount of people, I think.
And then that's like doesn't even touch fucking social media, doesn't even touch them person saying to someone else, like word of mouth, something that you said to them. That's like contact 1,000 people, 500 people.
Like, yeah, like 2 degrees of separation is pretty surreal when it comes to like to that. Eh?
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like it's, and I don't know about you, but I don't know how to deal with that. That's probably why I put my head in the sand and just
deal with what?
Because, for example, I got some. I fucking loved the last place I coached. Well, it's actually not the last place I coached. It's like how many have I done now? 3 since then. But the last main place I coached back home, I loved the members. I fucking loved it. I loved what I was coaching. I programmed for a couple of the classes too. But I fucking loved it. I think the vibe was just incredible. But like what, a year on, nearly 2 years on or whatever, I'll still get those messages saying like, hey, thank you very much, or how's it going, or can you help with this? I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm no longer your coach, man. Like, obviously you never turn them down, and it's really nice to hear a mate as well, because they're never just a member, they're a mate. But fuck me, I don't know how to deal with that.
I think it's important as well to recognize that, when you step into that coaching role, you're no longer just a friend. You're no longer, even if you were a colleague at one point, you're no longer, like, that role is very special to a lot of people because it's a role that I think adults as well are very lucky to experience, because some kids don't grow up that way. Some kids don't get to experience sport. And if they did, they might not have had such an influential coach or someone who was able to connect through to them and impact them in a way that changed their lives, forever. You become a very significant piece of their puzzle.
Fuck yeah, that really reminds me of a bit of work experience I did. I was a PE teacher in an inner city school in Manchester.
Oh, yes.
I fucking loved it, man. But, like, every door was double locked. Like, you would get pretty much strip searched as you went in. There's 12-year-olds knifing each other. There's fucking 13-year-old drug dealers. Like, you name it. You know what I mean? Like, it fucking happens. But I remember I was, like, just assisting some farm in the morning before we ended up going to the lessons. And there's just this young fella, like, one of those kids that had so much potential, but clearly been dealt a shit hand. And we ended up getting chatting, and he basically said, like, he liked running. I was like, oh, that's wicked. Like, why don't you join, like, a running club? He's like, oh, we don't have any. I was like, all right, sound, but you've got a field, and you get a dinner time. And he was like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll go out. And this kid was probably, like, 12, 13, and we were talking about mental struggles. He was like, oh, I'm down quite a bit. And, like, he lived with his auntie because he doesn't have a mum and dad. And, you know what I mean? Like, the kid's been through more than you want anyone to go through, and he's 12 or 13. I was just like, you know what, mate? I'll tell you what. How about you just go run around the field at dinner time? And he's like, you know what? I might just do that. I was like, go on, pal. And I'll see you tomorrow, and let me know how it was. And he comes in the next day, a fucking beaming smile on his face. He's like, Alex, I ran around the field at dinner time. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I had a fucking great time. Like, I was all sweaty, like, but I was so much in a better place, like, for the rest of the day. And I was like, mate, there you go. Just a little bit of physical activity. And he never would have had that role model. People were just going to, cast him aside of being, he's a kid with no parents or whatever. He's going to be a fucking idiot. Nah, right, good crack. He was a great lad.
That's awesome. I think that's coaching at its rawest form. You know, like, sure, throw a bunch of technical jargon in there, get yourself some certificates, but if you can't implement someone and get them to change or create change within themselves, like that is where the magic is, in my opinion.
100%, man. Like, we're talking about this pandemic at the moment with fucking like COVID, but what's going to be the next lasting pandemic for the next 10, 20 years? It's going to be what's going on between people's two ears. So what's going on in their head? And it's like, if we can do something within 60 minutes that stops people going home and slitting their own wrists, don't you think that's the best fucking job in the world?
Yeah. I a bit speechless when you put it like that, but honestly, man, like it's powerful. The amount that you can do, I feel like a lot of people just go through the motions, but they forget, like you have a responsibility here, and you have a lot of power and a lot of influence here. Keys to the kingdom.
Keys to the kingdom, mate. I love that.
Do right by that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because, like, we focus on, we can do that by nailing someone's air squat technique.
Damn straight.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, mind blown, you know what I mean? Like, we can be on someone's absolute tits by nailing their air squat techers, and they go home and they're in a better place.
Well, that's the thing, right? Magic is just science unexplained.
Yeah.
And, I'd classify that as pure magic, in my opinion.
Pure magic, mate. Pure friggin' magic. Like, the little, you see it in their face, right? I'm sure you've done it. Like, during a class, they come in, their shoulders are slouched, their head's down, they've clearly had a shitter of a day, or they're having a fight with their spouse, or maybe they're just not in a good place at the moment. And then they leave and their chest's up, they're proud, they're confident, they're high-fiving everyone. They might have given you an ass slap and being all cheeky, and they're like, oi, oi.
Yes, please.
always welcome for an ass. I tell you what, I do remember this because I had it, again, you get really good mates with the members, and rugby being rugby, it's not gay, but it is. Obviously, we've got no problems with anything like that. But if you know anything about rugby, it's a bit weird. Anyway, I had a really good mate, and he basically nailed the workout, absolutely smashed it. I gave him a challenge. I was like, look, and I thought in my head, like, there's a 50-50 chance he's going to be able to hold this. Like, it is incredible if he does it. And he does it, and he's like dying on the floor, and I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm like throwing PVC pipes. I'm fucking like jumping up for joy. Like, absolutely, like, basically like I've done about 3 tabs of bloody caffeine pills, and I'm going absolutely crazy. And I go up to him, I'm like, good fucking job, hell yeah, and like slap him on the ass because I'm like so fired up. And I remember there was a drop-in the same class, and I just saw the life get sucked out of this lady's face because she was just like, is he going to do that to everyone? I was just like, oh shit. I just went up to her, really good job, and gave her
welcome to the game, fam.
I just gave her like, the softest. I'd
like you to perform the good morning. Cueing. 3, 2, 1. Ka-chow.
Nah, Karen, mate, it's the best workout to coach. Karen, especially when it's all the fellas.
No one is safe.
Get all the boys you can. Nah,
good.
Fucking coaching, man. Like, what made you start coaching?
So similar to what we were talking about just now, it was to pay it forward. Ultimately, and where it began was that. So like with me growing up, I had severe ADHD. It wasn't the thing that crippled me the most, but I let it. You know what I mean? Physically as well, I wasn't very. I wasn't the fastest, strongest guy. I didn't see myself in that light, and I didn't think that'd ever be an opportunity for me. Yet I had someone show me that it could be mine if I wanted it to be. That person is my first coach, Mike Vitas. He showed me that with the right tools, time, quality progression, and effort, like maximum effort, you can change, you can evolve, you can become whoever you want to be. And the terminology I would use is fitness wizard is what my end game goal is to be. I would like to have the ability to create maximum change and evolution in everyone and anyone that I work with. I think it's probably the most powerful thing you can have. It's the closest thing you can be in terms of wizardry, or I don't want to speak too much of this because I feel like there's a strong community of people that actually believe in this stuff. So I'm not going to go down that path. Hogwarts is my house. I took the test, what was it, 2 days ago? But anyway.
Can I just say, my mum is a witch.
Is that so?
She is 110% a witch.
Okay.
She was born in Nigeria.
Really?
She is whiter than me, which is hard. I know.
That is incredible.
I know.
We've had to make the room darker in here just so that you don't get sunburnt.
I mean, it's true. I blend in with an A4 piece of paper.
That is amazing.
That's why I always wear black. It's mainly because you can see me.
It's fair enough.
Literally throughout growing up, she says things, they come true. Like, she would walk outside. Like, this is one of the earliest memories I have of her being a witch. She'd walk outside and go, "It's gonna rain in 3 days." I'd be like, "Fuck off." Next thing you know, 3 days, it's absolutely whizzing it down. Not a drop before that. 3 days time, whizzing it down. I'm like, you're kind of scaring me.
Can she add 10 kilos onto my snatch?
I'll tell you what, mate. I've been asking her the same question.
I was about to say. I was like, is there a long line for that one?
I'd be like, why do you answer life's deep questions when all I want is more kilos on my snatch?
It's fair enough. So, you can't always get what you want. It's what you need.
It's like, just give me 500 grams. I mean, I'm not... Beggars can't be choosers here.
I'll take a gram.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, that's why. That's why. And that was the first part of it, wanting to do it. But I think everybody starts very optimistic, and they think it's going to be a lot easier than it is.
Yep.
And there was a good period of time where I truly believed that it just wasn't possible, because it all comes down to experience and worldly view, what you see and believe and how you believe it, and what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And through your experience, you also gain strength. And now I'm at a point where I fully back myself to believe that I can make what I want happen, and there will be nothing stopping me.
You live in a world you create, right?
100%.
And I genuinely believe like-minded people will end up attracting to one another.
Are we talking about the law of attraction, my good friend?
Yeah, man. 100%.
It is.
It's true.
It's true. It really, really is.
Like, you keep your head down, you just keep working hard. Like, we wouldn't have met if I didn't meet Kels.
That's right.
And I wouldn't have met Kels if I never walked in, and then we started, like, kind of vibing off each other's vibe, and you know what I mean? It's like, oh, hang on a minute. Like, we're kind of doing not exactly the same shit as in, like, copyright, but I mean, like, we're doing similar things and display exactly the same, like, work ethic and kind of, like, habits and shit. I'm like, oh, maybe we should, like, grab a coffee sometime or whatever. And then the next thing you know, like I said, it opens up more doors, and that's where you and I met. And then it's like, oh, what the fuck? We're, like, exactly the same.
It's pretty good, eh?
And you're just like, all right. Well, and then you get a group of people that are very, very similar, doing similar things, and are willing to do whatever it takes. Mate, you end up creating some insane things.
It's pretty cool, eh?
It's fucking cool. And to be honest with you, we're 2021 now, but 2020 is probably the first year I've been like, you know what, mate? It was all worth it. It was all fucking worth it, because I was always like the kid who, like, got into the whole fitness scene, would study, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I wasn't good at wasn't that good at school. I wasn't shite, but I wasn't like the best. It didn't come naturally to me. Like I would study my ass off for like a C or a B, maybe. And then everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing, mate? Like, what fitness? Fuck off. We don't need fitness. We need booze." And I'm like, "Yeah, true, because I'm northern and it basically runs in my blood." But you know, I cast that. Everyone went to uni. I was broke. I had £7.48 left to my name. Like, I was stealing food. Like, I was absolutely fucked. And then I was like, all right, cool. And then obviously I came over here. Like I said, I lost my job twice for whatever reasons. But you just keep going, and then you find your place. And like I said, there's multiple people now I've met in this city, in this country, in this city, and now doors are now opening simply because I just refuse to quit. And I would bet my bottom dollar you've got many, many instances that you could say are exactly the same.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be reasons for you to stop, but there are also always going to be reasons for you to keep going.
But what if you keep going? What if it happens?
What do you mean?
Like, everyone goes, I can't do it. I'm like, but what if it works?
Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there are full instances where sometimes it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But rarely do those things come into fruition because, I mean, obviously we're talking about multiple different things. It's super vague, but I think the point that we're trying to make is like, you don't know until you try.
100%, man.
You have to go through the forest to see the full picture. You actually have to dive in deep to understand truly what's happening. You know, I think Jack Sparrow put it pretty well. You know, the problem isn't the problem. The problem is, you know, your attitude about the problem. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's through that adversity and through those times that fail that you end up learning what you need to do to then succeed.
And not burn out.
And not burn out, fuck me. That is a whole different nutshell.
100%.
Christ. Fuck me. I remember going home, open my door, look down at my phone for the time, and I had to leave for work in 2 hours' time. So I'm like, okay. I go to bed in my uniform. I wake up, get straight back in the car, and go straight back to work and do 18-hour days. 4 jobs. Like, fuck that, man. Obviously, there's times where you have to do it. You know, I was in situations where I had to do it. I was at position A. I wanted to get to C. Sometimes you got to go through B. But doing it all the time, sometimes saying no is the right thing.
It's the most powerful thing. Sorry, not powerful. It's the most useful tool you can have.
Yeah.
Is to recognize that, yeah, it'd be a lot easier to say yes, but it is going to be a lot more beneficial to say no. There's 2 different things there.
Again, another thing that Skel says, we should do a 3-way.
Are you inviting me to a 3-way?
I am, yeah. It's not gay if it's in a 3-way.
I'm very keen.
We should get.
I will need to talk about. I was gonna say I need to consult with my partner. I'm assuming is that what you mean?
Nah, just send her the video.
Oh, it's just
yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Just send her, caption it, take the picture off, and was like, babe, so I had a 3-way. And then send her the video, and she'd be like, what the fuck? And the next thing, it's just us 3 plonkers talking into mics about fitness.
This is pretty great.
Which is standard.
Which is
very standard.
That sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, because something that he says that I think, I genuinely make myself think all the time, and I have sent it to him a couple times, of like, oh my God, have I just drawn a blank? Oh, you can't pour from an empty glass.
That's right.
That's it. Fuck, I just drew a blank.
How many times have you burnt out?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Fuck me. More times than I care to count.
Because I think a lot of people in this space, like, and again, you've probably got older coaches who might be listening to this. I don't know. I'm 22. Alex, how old are you?
That's a good question. When 24.
It's fair enough. I will be 23 in February, but for the time being, I will take advantage of the fact that I'm 22. I've only ever burnt out twice. And originally I thought it was a big deal. It happened once, and, you know, you'd be lucky to come back from it. Apparently it happens a lot more often, but I think that it all comes down to your experience and your ability to kind of strategize as to how your longevity in your pursuit of your goals and how that works. So, like, it's a whole rabbit hole in terms of efficiency of, you know, your time and being able to not be spread so thin all the time.
But also everything's stimulating now, right? Like, you know, you can go down the whole blue light sort of equation, but everything is stimulating and we don't take time to destimulatize. We don't sit down and, like, do. And when we say do nothing, I don't mean fucking watch Netflix. I don't mean have a wank. I mean, like, do nothing. Think about the meaning of life. You know what I mean? It sounds probably hippy-dippy, but the thing is, the amount of, like, stuff you get from it. Like, go to the ocean. That's still a novelty for me. I've never been able to go to the beach, so I love going to the beach. I'm from Manchester, man. Like, the water we had is the Manny Ship Canal, and you're going to see a body floating down it, so you don't go in it.
You must love New Brighton or Sumner.
Oh, mate, they're insane. Insane. And tell you what, the beaches around Auckland are something else, mate. Like, I didn't even think it was possible. I'd never even seen it in a travel magazine, never even seen it online, never seen it anything. And I end up fucking rocking to Piha Beach, my favourite place in the entire world. Well, bar Manchester, because it's the greatest place in the entire world. Mate, I was, like, blown away. Still am blown away by it. I don't believe my eyes. I'm just like, this is incredible. But, like, the fact that you can just sit there, watch the ocean, and I think the ocean is the best metaphor. And I said it to the lady the other day, and I was just like, all right, watch this. And I dug a line in the sand, right? And I just dug a load of stuff out. So then I filled it with water, and it was too far inland that the ocean didn't end up getting it. And I was like, watch what happens. She was like, what? I was like, what is happening? She was like, nothing. I was like, all right, give it a minute. A minute later, what's happening? Nothing. All right, give it a minute. I think we looked at it for like 5-10 minutes. The ocean caught up with it. And they ended up, the water in the ditch I dug ended up going back to the ocean. She was like, what's your point? And I was like, what we do doesn't matter. Everything's going to go back to the ocean. Everything goes back into the cycle. So what we do doesn't necessarily matter. It's all one. You're not going to get that from, like, binge watching How I Met Your Mother for the 20th time.
Terrible show, in my opinion.
Oh, get out. That's it. We're over.
Sorry.
I love it, man.
Fair enough.
But I like that. I like rom-coms and stuff. I'm a proper, like...
I can take only so much of Friends. People will fight me on this as well.
See, my mum loved it.
That's fair enough.
And I grew up with, like, I lived with my mum. And she loved it. So, like, naturally you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I enjoyed this too. And then you kind of just learn to love Friends.
More of a Cheers kind of guy.
More of a what?
Cheers?
Cheers. What the fuck is that?
Oh, man, it's Woody Harrelson.
Oh, he's fucking hilarious.
This is, like, when he, like, way back. Like, this is before Friends.
What's the other one? Have you seen Blue Mountain State? That's a good funny one.
That is one of the best TV series of all time. Thadland is one of my favorite movies.
Thadland. No, I've not seen it.
Oh, you gotta watch. You go home, download it. I'll download it for you. It's phenomenal. It's so good. Blue Mountain State is like every boy's, like, college experience dream. I think
it's just fucking dumb humor though as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's ridiculous, and it's just completely like exaggerated humor, but good show.
Yeah, it's
Good show.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it, to be fair.
Matt Frazier is actually in Thadland.
He's in Blue Mountain State too.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. That man gets everywhere.
It's awesome.
I mean, he's also an absolute beast. Like, in all senses of the word. Seems like a right cool fella.
It's good to see that Rich and Matt are friends again.
Oh, mate, I don't fucking keep up with that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, you know, people fall out all the time. I couldn't care less.
It's just lack of communication, I think.
It's basically the root of all bloody arguments, though, isn't it?
I reckon. Yeah.
It's like, which one's the wife?
Hey?
Which one's the wife in the relationship between Matt and Rich?
I think they're both the husbands, bro. They're pretty alpha. You know what I mean? I think that was also like one of the roots of their.
It's probably why it fucking broke down.
100%.
Two alpha males headbutting each other.
Oh yeah.
Just like, Jesus Christ. What time are we on?
It is currently 2:58 p.m. and we are an hour 16 minutes into this podcast.
My man, have you got anything else you want to say?
There are a few things I
it.
need you listeners to do once you're finished with this podcast. First thing is go buy my man's book.
Oh, behave.
You got to go do it. Support your man. If you're interested in any nutrition coaching or private programming or anything of that sort, you can find me at reclaim_coach.
We didn't even get into the nutrition. Jump into the nutrition. And
I want to jump into the nutrition. I feel like that's a whole different episode. We just vibed for this one. We can do that. We can do that next time.
Oh, we could do that next time. Yeah,
we can do that next time. There will be another one.
That's sure.
Best believe.
100%, man. I'll get one of these fancy things that basically looks like a giant dildo with a.
There's two giant dildos, both in front of us.
Well, that's a brilliant time right there.
I really like this setup right now. Anyway,
it is actually really cool.
It's cool, eh?
And I'll bring like an extension cord for some what do you call it?
Facebook
Charger.
Live chat.
Oh yeah, mate.
That'd be sweet.
And then we'll get the ginger.
100%, we'll get the ginger. Nah, Alex, I appreciate you having me on, bro. This has been real.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Voila. Finito.